Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Amani Talks podcast. You're here with your host, Amani, on the podcast where we discuss our Christian-based topics and deepening our relationship with the Lord. And we are continuing on, okay? We're getting right through the book of Proverbs, doing our A Proverb a Day challenge, where we read one chapter of Proverbs a day, 31 days of Proverbs for the month of July. We're getting our daily dose of wisdom in the morning, okay? Starting our day off with a little word. And yeah, so let's get into it. Today is July 10th, and we are going to be reading Proverbs 10. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. The Lord will not allow the righteous soul to famish, but he casts away the desire of the wicked. He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a wise son. He who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. The memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. The wise in heart will receive commands, but a prating fool will fall. He who walks with integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his ways will become known. He who winks with his eye causes trouble, but a prating fool will fall. The mouth of the righteous is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who is devoid of understanding. I know that's right. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of the righteous leads to life, the wages of the wicked to sin. He who keeps instruction in the way is in the way of life, but he who refuses correction goes astray. Whoever hides hatred has lying lips, and whoever spreads slander is a fool. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of wisdom. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. To do evil is like sport to a fool, but a man of understanding has wisdom. The fear of the wicked will come upon him, and the desire of the righteous will be granted. When the whirlwind passes by, the wicked is no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the lazy man to those who send him. The fear of the Lord prolongs days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. The hope of the righteous will be gladness, but the exception of the wicked will perish. The way of the Lord is strength for the upright, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not inhabit the earth. The mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked what is perverse. So chapter 10 of Proverbs is unique in the flow, in the feel of it. So far, we've talked about how each chapter feels, when it feels like instruction, when it feels like poetry. This one just feels like random sayings. And actually, that's what my Bible has titled chapter 10, Wise Sayings of Solomon. So not random sayings, but just like a collection of his wise sayings, because they just kind of seem like all over the place. It's like he's just kind of like in his bed or like on his lounging chair, having someone write this for him, like, and this, and this. Oh, and don't forget that, and this. I just love it. Like, it's just really funny. So as I'm reading this, I actually see where I don't even know how long ago I had underlined a certain verse that really stuck out to me. And that is verse 19. So let's read that again. Verse 19 says, "In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise." I underlined that because that resonates with me, because we have all experienced how the loudest in the room always tends to be the person with the least amount of knowledge. It's always that person. They always just loud and proud, just loud and wrong, child. And they always the one speaking up like, dang, don't you ever stop talking? But the way I also took this is like, you read a little bit more, you start to understand it a little bit more. We as people, just in general, we love to talk. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? The Lord created communication. He wants us to talk to each other. He wants us to talk to him. And we love talking about ourselves. Parents love talking about their kids. I love talking about my cats. We love to talk, okay? There's only so much to talk about. And when you find yourself constantly yapping, constantly jibber jabbing, it's very easy to fall into gossip. It's very easy to fall into judging other people. It's very easy to get caught up in saying things that you just shouldn't say when that jaw is constantly going. At least that's what it is for me. I used to post think pieces on my TikTok because I used to love to talk about relationship dynamics and things that we see in Black culture. And that's not a bad conversation to have. But I found that the more I did it, the more I was yapping about relationships, the more it started to sound kind of gossipy. Like, was what I was saying true? Yeah. But it did start to feel and sound like gossip. And that's one thing that the Lord recently convicted me on, because I used to watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't watch really any reality TV anymore. I think it's all just like trash now. But when I used to be into that stuff, me and my friend used to watch it, and we'll be like, oh, did you see the new episode? Did you see the reunion? Did you see the Real Housewives of Atlanta and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills were our two shows. We used to always talk about them. And we used to always talk about the people. We used to say, oh, they got this going on, and they said that. And it wasn't clicking to me, like I wasn't clocking it. It wasn't clocking to me that that's gossip. I wasn't regarding it as gossip because I'm like, these are just TV people, I don't know them in real life. They're showing, it's a TV show. That's how I used to think about it. But then I stopped and I was like, but these are real people though. And these are real circumstances. So I don't need to be talking about how Karen Huger is going to prison for her 4th DUI. And I'm asking, Karen, why you do that? Karen, why you was driving drunk? I don't need to be having those conversations. Like, if I feel the need to talk about somebody, I should shut my mouth and I should go pray for them instead. And that's what I have been trying to do. And that's why you don't see those think pieces that I used to post on my TikTok. You don't see me talking about that stuff anymore, because I've come to realize even that a think piece is a form of gossip. So verse 19 definitely stood out to me. I underlined it. I apply that to my life. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking. You talking a lot. You're probably gossiping. Because what else, like I said, it's only so much to talk about. It's very easy to fall into sin when talking is your favorite pastime, when it's your favorite sport. It's very easy to get caught up in saying something that you should not say. And we look at sin sometimes and we say, well, I'm not cursing. I'm not necessarily gossiping. I'm not To he who knows to do right and he doesn't do it, to him that is a sin. So we have our own personal convictions that the Lord has convicted us on about what we should not be doing. That isn't necessarily a 10 commandment sin. But if the Lord tells you that you can't do something and you go against it and you do it, to you, that's sin. And so if the Bible is telling us in the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise, I have to regard that as some kind of instruction for my life. If I'm chasing wisdom, if I'm trying to renew my mind, if I'm trying to have more of a mind and heart that Jesus had, isn't that our goal on earth? Is to be more and more and more and more like Jesus. And another verse that I really like going back is verse 3, to where it says, the Lord will not allow the righteous soul to famish. And I like that reminder. I think there's a verse in Psalm that says, I've never seen the righteous forsaken. I don't know if it was David or one of the sons of Korah. I don't know who wrote that psalm, but I remember reading that in Psalm. The author said he had never seen the Lord forsake the righteous. So I just like those reminders about how when I'm doing good and I'm actually obeying God, sometimes it doesn't always feel like he's in the midst of everything. Sometimes it does feel like an isolation season, or it feels like, God, like I've been praying for something and I've been really trying to seek you and do your work, and I feel like I don't really feel you close to me. The Lord does not forsake the righteous. The righteous soul is never impoverished. It's nice to know that the Lord is watching you. You know how they say in a family dynamic, when it's a bunch of siblings, it's always the sibling that's acting out, that's getting the most attention, because it's always the parents having to talk to them and discipline them and show them extra attention because why are you acting like this? And the good kid always gets ignored. That's how it sometimes feels while we're on earth. It feels like the people who are doing evil are always the people that have some kind of attention. They're always the ones getting noticed. The people that are walking in sin are always the ones that are gaining some kind of worldly attention. And you tend to get overlooked as a Christian woman. You know, even in the church, when we talk about dating, it seems like a lot of men of God, or so that's what they, identify as, they go out looking for the IG baddie to date. Meanwhile, there's so many Christian women in the church that are really seeking the Lord, serving in their church, and they have a close relationship with God. They're not just faking it, or, it's not even necessarily that people are faking it, but these are true women of God, and even they get overlooked by Christian men because the Christian men are picking with the wrong body part. They're not picking with their brain. They're not praying and asking the Lord to renew what they find attractive. No, they're chasing the IG baddie. So I've just had a lot of personal experience, and I have seen for myself how the good, get overlooked. And it's refreshing to have reminders in Proverbs that talk about, the righteous don't get forsaken by God. He doesn't overlook the righteous soul. It's just a nice reminder to continue to do good because the Lord is watching you. He knows what's going on, and he is not overlooking you. So that's all I got for Proverbs 10. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow for Proverbs 11. I will also say this before we close out. Make sure that you guys pray for me and my church because I am leaving to go on my missions trip. It is my very first missions trip I'll ever be involved in. So just pray that the Lord just opens doors. He softens people's hearts while we're out doing evangelism, that he keeps us safe first and foremost, and that we are just really effective and that we really go and we really help and we make a difference. Once again, thank you. Shout out to everyone who helped donate and help fundraise. We were able to send everybody from my church on this DR missions trip without them putting $1 towards it out of their own pockets. The fundraising was more than enough. The Lord provided. And yeah, so just keep me in your prayers and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.